The famous Marilyn Monroe decided to prove something in the summer of 1955. She and the photographer went down to the New York subway, where she calmly waited for the train on the platform. The photographer took pictures of her so that no one would pay attention. During the entire time spent in the noisy and crowded subway, no one recognized the star. But when they went outside, Marilyn turned to the photographer and asked, "Do you want to see magic?" Then she slightly tousled her hair, changed her posture, and as if by magic, passers-by began to notice her. Instantly, a crowd gathered around her. People asked for autographs, and she, smiling, attracted them like a magnet. What happened? How did she turn from an inconspicuous woman into a bright star in just a couple of seconds? The answer is simple. Marilyn turned on her charisma. It was she who became the magical effect that changed her aura in an instant. What do Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Steve Jobs, Winston Churchill, and Princess Diana have in common? They were engaged in completely different things, had different goals and appearances, but they all had one important quality in common: incredible charisma. This quality played a huge role in their lives and helped them reach great heights. Although many people believe that charisma is given from birth, Olivia Fox Caban in her book, Charisma: How to Influence, Convince, and Inspire, reveals the secrets of how to develop this quality in yourself and influence people. There are three types of charismatic behavior, and depending on which one is more developed in you, you can become one of the four types of charismatic person. These are the behaviors. 1. Presence. It is the ability to be completely focused on the person or business you are doing. This is awareness in every moment. You are completely here and now. Have you noticed people who are as focused as possible on something important? For example, a surgeon during surgery or an athlete before the decisive blow. Their full involvement makes a strong impression. Now imagine that you show the same presence in a conversation. The person sees that you are fully involved in the conversation, and this moment is most important to you. Such behavior, especially in our time, can greatly affect people. The second aspect is warmth, in other words, kindness to others. Being warm means being perceived as a person who cares about others and strives to positively influence the world. Think about those who are sincerely interested in your affairs. Listen carefully to your answers, react to them, and try to help, as well as those who speak inspiringly about their affairs and their desire to change the world for the better. Such people are most likely to evoke positive emotions in you. Why is this happening? The fact is that they create a sense of protection and care. Evolution has taught us to join those who are ready to protect and support. For confirmation, it is enough to look at an adult man who plays with children or teaches them something new. It always evokes warm feelings and sympathy. The third aspect is strength. This is one of the most powerful types of charismatic behavior that is difficult to develop. People with power are always confident in what they say and what they want. Their speech is slow and thoughtful, and they are never in a hurry. Sometimes there is a feeling of fear around them, although they do not do anything evil and are not bad people. Properly used power has a strong influence on others. Depending on your behavioral characteristics, you can relate to one of the four types of charismatic people, which we will talk about later. However, regardless of the type of charisma you choose, there are several universal recommendations that will help you become more attractive. First tip: don't rush. Confusion and haste significantly reduce the level of charisma. Pay attention to your body language, avoid nervous movements, speak steadily, and do not interrupt the interlocutor. Remember the rule: start talking only 2 seconds after your interlocutor finishes. The second tip: stay calm and focused. In the process of communication, try to absorb every word of the interlocutor and not be distracted by extraneous thoughts. When completing a task, immerse yourself completely in its execution. People who look confident and focused always make a strong impression. The third tip: try to look at yourself from the outside. Pay attention to your posture, how you sit, how you look. Don't you nod too often? As soon as you become aware of your posture during a conversation, you automatically start to look better. You align and assume a more confident position. Now let's move on to the 4 types of charisma that you can show. Let's talk about 4 types of charismatic people. Those whom we see and cannot look away, who attract attention simply by their presence. We will analyze how this charisma manifests itself and who of the famous people is endowed with these qualities. 1. Domineering charisma. This is the charisma of power. Imagine people like Winston Churchill or Margaret Thatcher. When they entered the room, everyone felt their powerful presence. They didn't just talk. Their words sounded like a command. They were listened to. These people know how to take responsibility, and the energy of leadership seems to emanate from them. Domineering charisma is the ability to convince others that they are in control of the situation, and this forces people to follow them. How to develop this charisma? The intonation of your voice should be slightly lower than usual. Take your time when you speak. Take a pause before starting a speech and demonstrate unwavering confidence in your ability to influence the situation. The dominant charisma largely depends on the appearance. Choose classic monochrome clothes, stick to a minimalist style, and your gestures should be confident, with a minimum number of shifts of poses and emotions. 2. Benevolent charisma. Now imagine a person next to whom you want to smile and be yourself. It's about the Dalai Lama or Princess Diana. These people radiate warmth and kindness that instantly win hearts. When they talk, you feel like they genuinely care about you. Benevolent charisma is the ability to be approachable, friendly, and attract people with its gentleness and care. To develop benevolent charisma, it is important to actively communicate and show care, consent, and demonstrate that your values are closely linked to the desire for positive changes, both in the world and in the life of the interlocutor. The ability to create empathy and show that you care about a person plays a key role. Sometimes it is useful to admit your mistakes and sincerely regret them. Work on making your voice warmer and softer. Imagine how caring parents communicate with their children when they teach or tell them something important. Such an intonation is worth striving to achieve. At the same time, excessive condescension or underestimation of the interlocutor should be avoided, but notes of parental care should be present. In addition, your opinion is also important. During communication, when you're talking or listening, mentally repeat to yourself, "I really want everything to work out for you and for you to be fine." This simple phrase may be enough to give your gaze that attractive shade that distinguishes people with benevolent charisma. 3. Focused charisma. This type of charisma is about full attention. These are people who can literally stare at your interlocutor, as if the whole world ceases to exist, and only you are important. An example of such charisma is Mahatma Gandhi or Elon Musk. They know how to listen and make you feel like the most important person in the room. This is a very powerful tool because when someone pays full attention to you, it inspires deep trust and respect. This type of charisma is one of the most accessible to each of us. To develop it, it is important to establish eye contact during a conversation. Try to look away from the other person's gaze less often and ask more questions, allowing him to speak and not you. However, it is worth remembering that an excess of questions can create a feeling of interrogation, so it is important to keep a balance. In addition, the manifestation of this charisma can be enhanced if during a conversation you slightly nod your head and show micro emotions on your face in response to the words of the interlocutor. This helps to create an atmosphere of understanding and support, which makes communication more warm and open. 4. Inspiring charisma. And finally, inspiring charisma. It's a mixture of warmth and strength. Imagine Freddie Mercury on stage or Martin Luther King during his famous speeches. These people not only radiated power, but also inspired others to take action, changed people's lives. Inspiring charisma is the ability not just to speak, but to ignite hearts, to lead people through their ideas and passion. If you want to radiate inspiring charisma, first of all, you should be confident in your actions and words. Your goals and desires should be ambitious, filled with absolute conviction and nobility. It is important to be able to ignore conversations on minor topics and focus your efforts on convincing or persuading others. Although it may seem strange, such charisma is enhanced when you distance yourself a little from the emotional reactions and desires of individuals. The charisma that suits you depends on your personal qualities, character, and goals. No matter what kind of charisma you want to develop, use the visualization tool. Our brain has an amazing ability not only to remember, but also to use the accumulated knowledge at the right moment, doing it automatically. So, in order for your visualization tool to really work, you need to take two simple steps. Step 1. Remember all the famous personalities, characters from movies and heroes who have the type of charisma that you want to develop in yourself. It can be anyone: actors, leaders, musicians, or even fictional characters. Step 2. Regularly watch videos, movies, and interviews of these people. At the same time, pay attention to the details: posture, intonation, facial expressions, choice of words. Write down everything that you think makes them charismatic. For example, if you want to develop inspiring charisma, watch Martin Luther King's famous "I Have a Dream" speech. Pay attention to his voice, how it changes when he adds pauses and when he speaks a little faster. Or notice how he looks away and up diagonally when he talks about his dreams. It's an important gesture. It's like he's reaching out to his deepest thoughts and revealing something personal and meaningful. These moments can be studied and applied in your life to develop your own charisma. Step 2. Close your eyes and imagine that you are using all the elements that you have written out. Think about which ones will suit you and how they can be applied in your daily life. For example, take Martin Luther King's same look up diagonally. Imagine that you are at a business meeting. You're asked about your plans, and suddenly, like a dreamer, you immerse yourself in your thoughts, start talking quietly, thoughtfully, looking somewhere in the corner of the room. Agree, it will look a little strange, and most likely you will be perceived as a frivolous person. Now imagine that you are on a date and the other person asks you about your life plans or values. At this point, you look away in the same way. Wait a couple of seconds before you start talking calmly and confidently about your dreams and goals. Done right, it will make a very strong impression. Your interlocutor will see not just answers, but depth, sincerity, and thoughtfulness, which will add charisma to you. If you practice this in front of a mirror or in a safe environment, then over time your brain will automatically turn on the right elements at the right moment, making your behavior more charismatic without much effort. Whatever charisma you want to develop, don't forget to enjoy the process. The most charismatic personalities I have met in my life were precisely those who felt joy from their actions or enjoyed their aspirations. Even if you have only a drop of this pleasure, know that you are already beginning to attract people and influence their lives. Share this video with those who are close and dear to you. See you in the next videos.